Good morning, warriors. It's Lisa Wolf here, and today is Masterminds Monday. And today, in this week, I'm going to do something a little different. The days of the week are going to stay the same, but there's going to be a theme. And this week, I decided to talk about waiting. And waiting, it can sum down to many things in life. It could be about that job, about that relationship, marriage, a baby, whatever the case may be. And this season, especially with COVID, we're all in a season of waiting. We're waiting for things to be normal again, or whatever the case may be. Sorry, I'm at the park. This is my office, so I'm just enjoying the day. But I had to come and make this video real quick. So for me, with the waiting, I always made bad choices about men, and then I experienced my own heartbreak because I made that heartbreak, and I decided, I even made a podcast about this, so this is why I'm making a YouTube video about it. So my podcast is actually about my sons and I and our adventures in life, because they do have autism, but I don't even see that anymore. All I see is my boys. And during this process, especially with the waiting, I decided 5 years ago to make a vow to my divine source, God, about dating, sex, and marriage and relationships, and decide to heal and find out like what is going on with me to pick these men that I was with, and realize that after a while I didn't believe in love again, or I never really believed in love because I didn't really know what love truly is. And during the past, I have discovered that, and because I was intentional, and I stay intentional on the things I'm doing. So anyways, about last year around this time, my dear friend Vanessa and I went to a women's conference. And during a break, she did ask me, she said, what do you look, or what do you want in a man? And at the time, I didn't know really what I did, but all I know and how I answered her was, all I know is what I don't want. And a lot of people say, well, that's a big mistake, because you start getting people that you truly don't want. And that's okay, because I learned a lot especially the last year, what I truly desire and want. And I don't have a list. I refuse to make a list, because that's just redundant, and it's not God's plan. That's my plan. And what happened while I was sick, God has stripped me. My divine source, again, is God. He has stripped me of all of my identities. And so I think the whole purpose of the waiting is stripping you of all your identities and getting raw and naked before you actually get naked. And you have to know who you are intimately, and who you are intimately with your source, before you can have an intimate relationship with anybody. So I choose to wait. And in this season, I have learned that God's going to make it known, especially if you have a relationship with Him or with your source, because you're intimate with that source, so you know. And when I'm talking about intimacy, I'm just not talking about sex. I'm talking about actually digging deep in knowing who you are. And I'm more than a respiratory therapist. I'm more than my body. I'm more than a mom. I'm who God created me to be. And during the season of waiting, I've, especially being sick, I've healed from the inside out. I still have a lot of work to do, but I'm not doing it anymore. I'm totally relying on my source, and that is Jesus Christ. And I don't have no regrets, and I'm trusting in that. And I'm trusting in myself, because I know that I can trust myself, because I know I can make better decisions. And I'm going to close it with what I was told 3 years ago by Miss Minette, that because I was in like 6 weddings. I went to 6 weddings, and I was getting just so discouraged. And she pulled me aside and told me the parable about the 10 virgins, and I get that now about waiting. And it does take patience, but there's a reason all behind it, and there's lessons, and there's teachings, and there's growing and maturing. I had to grow and mature, and I knew when I went to Honduras, I would come back and I would not be the same. And I thank God every day for that trip, because it has changed me from the inside out. But anyways, what she was saying during that time, she said, you're gonna know. It's like when you bought your house. When you walked in that house, you had no intentions of buying a house. Like, you went there for a life group, and you walked in, and you knew, you had this sense in you that that was your house, even though at the time you didn't know. And she said, and I've been thinking about this lately, and because he's brought this to my attention, because I was on my podcast, I was talking about dating and the whole weight and everything. And before I got sick, I was questioning my weight. And believe me, besides being sick, other things have happened, and I know my answer now. And I have found my home. I found my home 3 years ago, but I wasn't mature enough, and I wasn't ready for this. But I can say right now, I am healing, and I'm gonna know, because it's gonna be like walking into my home, and there's nothing to be scared about anymore. There's no doubts in my mind. It's just that I have to be faithful and trust in the Lord, and I have to trust in myself that this is His plan for me, my children, and everybody else involved, and this man, you know, that He has for me. So I choose to continue to wait, but not in my time, but in God's time. I hope this has blessed everyone, because you have to have a mind and a mastermind to prepare to wait for whatever God's plan is for you, or your divine source has for you. You have to step out of your ego and pride. And I had to get that mindset. I had to get sick to realize this. And it does kind of make me sad, because I'm still healing. And there are days that I just want to give in, but I can't, because His plan is in motion, and I gave Him my yes to whatever He has planned for me, because He saved me. I could be home with Him right now, but he decided to give me this opportunity, and I'm not going to take that for granted. And if I have to wait, I have to wait. But I'm going to do it with a more joyful heart, and not question my source, and that is God. I'm not questioning Him anymore. I hope this has blessed somebody, and I pray and hope that you learn in this season especially with COVID, that we all have to wait, and you're not alone. And I hope you have a blessed day.